Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome to a brand new video. Today we are going to talk about how to break into tight crowd. The woman you have decided you must meet is wearing no what's it, can't find the host for the who technique to make matters or she's deep in find the host for the who technique to matters who is deep in conversation with the group of her friends. It seems quite hopeless that you will maneuver a meeting, doesn't it? You can't just say, "Excuse me, I just thought I would," if would drop in and say hello. No, no obstacle blocks the resolute politician who always has a trick or ten up his or her sleeve. A Politico would resort to the eavesdropping technique. Eavesdropping, of course, conjures images of clandestine activities or tapping Watergate brains or spy skulking around in the murky shadows. Eavesdropping has a historical precedent with politicians, so in a pinch it naturally comes to mind. At parties stand near the group of people you used to infiltrate. So now we're going to see what is infiltrate meaning. Infiltrate mean enter or gain access to surreptitiously and gradually, especially in order to acquire secret uh, information. Okay, then wait for a word or two you can use as which to break into the group. Excuse me, I couldn't help overhearing you that you, and then whatever is relevant there here. For example, I couldn't help overhearing your discussion of Bermuda. I am going there next month for the first time in suggestions. Now you are in the circle and can direct comments into your intended technique 14. Ibas drop in. Ibas drop in. Secretly listen to a conversation. Eavesdrop. 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 No what's it. No host for who's it. No problem. Just fiddle up behind the swarm of folks you want to infiltrate and open your ears. Wait for you to busy excuse and jump in with excuse me, I couldn't help but over here. Will they be taken back momentarily? Will they get over it momentarily? Will you be in the conversation? Absolutely. Let us hop back on the train that first explored a small talk city and travel to the land of meaningful communicating. How to make where are you from sound exciting. You wouldn't dream of going to a party naked, but I hope you wouldn't dream of letting your conversation to be exposed naked and defenseless against the two inevitable assaults. Where are you from and what do you do? When asked when asked these questions, most people like slunking a frozen stick on a china platter, drop a brick or frozen geography or baffling job title on the Oscars conversational platter. Then they snap on the muzzle. You are a convention everyone you meet will Of course, ask and where are you from when you give them the short from City answer. Oh, I am from Muscating, Iowa or Mill Rocket, Maine, Winnemucca, Nevada, or anywhere they haven't heard of. What can you expect except a blank stare? Even if you are relatively big city speaker from Denver, Colorado, Detroit, Michigan, or San Diego, California, you will receive a panicked look from all but American history professors. They are rapidly racking their brains thinking, what do say next? Even the names of world class birds like New York, Chicago, Washington, and Los Angeles inspired less than riveting response. When I tell people I am from New York City, what are they expected to say? No, seen any good muggings lately. Do humanity and yourself a favor. Never ever give just a on sentence response to the question, where are you from? Give the Oscar some fuel for his tank, some fodder for his throw, and give the hungry communicator something to conversationally nibble on. All it takes is an extra sentence or two about your city, some interesting fact, some witty conversation to hook the asker into the conversation. Several months ago, a trade associate invited me to be its keynote speaker on networking and teaching people to be better conversationalists. Just before my speech, I was introduced to Mrs. Debley, who was the head of the association. How do you do? He asked, how do you do? I replied. Then Mr. Devlin smiled anxiously, awaiting a sample of my simulating conversational expertise. I asked her where was she, where she was from. She plunked a frozen Columbus, Ohio, and a big expectant grin on my letter. I had to quickly throw her answer into digestible conversation. My mind crashed into action. Less thought pattern. Gulf, Columbus, Ohio. I have never been there. Really, wow. What do I know about Columbus? I know a fellow named Jeff, a successful speaker who lives there, but Columbus is too big to ask if she knows him. And besides, only kids play the do you know so and so game. My panicked silent search continued. I think it was named after Christopher Columbus, but I'm not sure. So I better keep my mouth shut on that one. Four or five other possibilities raced through my mind, and I rejected them all as too obvious to adolescent or two of the world. I realized by now that seconds had passed and Mrs. Devlin was still standing there with a slowly dissipating smile on her face. She was waiting for me, the expert who within the hour was expected to teach her trade association lessons on scintillating conversation to spew forth words of wit or wisdom. Oh, Columbus, I mummed in desperation, watching her face fall into the horrid expression of a patient being asked by the surgeon, knife poised in hand, where's your appendix? Then, how to make where are you from sound exciting? I never came up with this stimulating conversation on Columbus, but just then, under the knife, I created the following technique for posterity. Call it never the naked city. Different bait for shrimp or sharks. A fisherman uses different bait to bag bass or bluefish, and you will obviously throw out different conversational bait to snag simple shrimp or sophisticated sharks. Your hook should relate to the type of person you are speaking with. I'm originally from Washington, D.C. If someone at, say, an art gallery where I was from, I might answer Washington, D.C. designed, you know, by the same name, by the same city planner who designed Paris. This opens the conversational possibilities to the artistry of city planning, Paris, other cities plans, European travel, and so forth. At a social party of singles, I would opt for another reason. I am from Washington, D.C. The reason I left is there were seven women to every man when I was growing up. Now the conversation can turn to ecstasy or agony of being single. Agony meaning extreme physical or mental suffering. Mental suffering. Okay, the perceived perceived meaning become perceived হচ্ছে verb become aware of conscious uh, of something. The perceived lack of desirable man everywhere, even flirtatious possibilities. Whenever someone asks if the inevitable and where are you from, never ever unfairly challenge their powers of imagination a word with a one word answer. Learn some engaging facts about your hometown that conversational partners can comment on. Then, when they say something clever in response to your bait, they think you are a great conversationalist. In a political group, I would cast a current fact from constantly evolving political phase or Washington. No need to speculate on the multitude of conversational possibilities that unlock. Where do you get your conversational bait? You start by phoning the Chamber of Commerce or Historical Society of your town, search the World Wide Web of www and click on your town or open an old-fashioned encyclopedia. All rich sources for future stimulating conversation. Learn some history, geography, business, statistics, or perhaps a few random facts to tickle future friends. by Funny Bones. The Devlin debacle inspired further research. The minute I got home, I called the Columbus Chamber of Commerce and Historical Society to say you two are from Columbus, Ohio, and your new acquaintances place it on you. Acquaintances meaning হচ্ছে knowledge or space of something. Where are you from? When you are talking with a business person, you answer, I am from Columbus, Ohio. You know many major many other corporations do their product testing in Columbus because it's commercially typical. In fact, it is being called the most American city in America. They say if it blooms or bounces in Columbus, it bombs naturally. Talking with someone with a German last name, tell her about Columbus, historic German village with brick street and wonderful 1850s style little houses. It's bound to inspire stories of the old city. Your conversation partner's surname is Italian. Tell him Genoa, Italy is Columbus sister city. Talking with an American history buff, tell him that Columbus was indeed named after Christopher Columbus and that a replica of the Saint Maria is anchored in the Scioto River. Telling with the student. Tell her about 5 universities in Columbus. The possibilities continue if suspect your conversation partner has an artistic bent. You throw out casually. Columbus is the home of artist George Bellows. Columbus prepare some tasty snacks for askers, even if you know nothing about them. That's it for today. Thanks for joining, guys.